Today, we are learning about subject pronouns in Spanish. What are subject pronouns? You already know them in English. Basically, it's the way we say I, you, he, she, we, you, and they. So let's make sure that we learn them in Spanish so that you and I can start speaking it. If you're new here, welcome to Teacher Catalina, my channel, where you learn Spanish from a native speaker, a certified Spanish teacher with more than 16 years of teaching experience. Subject pronouns are super important. Not only are they going to allow us to start speaking in Spanish, but a lot of the lessons that we will do from here on out are going to be based off those subject pronouns. So it is super important that you learn how to say them and that you'll learn them in the order that I am going to teach you today. Got it? Perfecto. So let's bring our chart up and let's go ahead and start filling it up together. Let's start with I. The way that you say I is yo. Yo. Now, depending on the country, your teacher or another native speaker may say it a little bit different. For me, in Colombia, I say yo. Yo is going to go over there in our chart now. And remember, the placement on the chart is important. And you will learn later on why it's so important. But for now, I, yo. The next one is you. I'm talking you. You watching this video. The way that you say you is tú. Tú. And that accent is super important. Tú. Very good. So far we have yo and tú. I, you. Yo, tú. Muy bien. The next one would be he. He. And that is going to be él. Él. That accent is also important. Él. Very good. Now pay attention where that goes in our chart. Él. So far we have yo, tú, él. Muy bien. Now, in case we're talking about a she, we would say ella. Ella. She, ella. Now remember, that double L may sound a little bit different depending on the native speaker. Ella. So again, let's review. Yo, tú, él, ella. Very good. Now notice how we kept él and ella on the same line. Very important. Before we go any further, I want to make sure that I point out something that is important. In English, the next subject pronoun would be it. It. And we're now going to use an it in Spanish. I know it's a little bit weird, but what you need to remember is that in Spanish, things have gender. I know it's a little bit hard to understand, but as we go through the lessons together, you will start catching on. Just remember, anytime you want to talk about an it, it's going to depend on the gender of that noun. So we're going to sort of treat it as a he or a she. The next subject pronoun may be a little bit different as it does not exist in English. In Spanish, we have two forms of you. A you informal that we already learned, tú, and a you formal that is the one I'm going to go over right now. So what does it mean to be formal or informal? Formal may be when you're talking to somebody that you want to show respect to. Maybe somebody who's older than you. Maybe somebody that is above you, like in a job, your boss. Or maybe somebody that you just want to show that you respect them. Now, informal is going to be somebody like a family member or a friend, somebody you treat informally. So how do you say that you formal? That you formal is usted. Usted. I know, sounds a little bit funny, but here's what you need to know. Usted is often abbreviated into UD dot. So when you see that, you should know that we're referring to usted, you formal. And again, notice that although it's a you, we're placing it on the third line next to él and next to ella. So just remember, so far we have yo, tú, basically you informal, él, he, ella, she, and usted, that you formal. You deserve a virtual high five because you just made it through the singular subject pronouns. What does that mean? Basically, we're talking about only one person. Now, it's time that we focus on the subject pronouns that are for a group of people, plural, more than one. Are you ready? Okay, let's do it. The next one is going to be nosotros. Or guess what? It could also be nosotras. We gotta have a little conversation about this, but basically, nosotros and nosotras means we. We. But, as I told you a little bit earlier, in Spanish, we have to worry a little bit about gender. So, it's going to depend on who is in the group. Is it all a group of boys? Then we would say nosotros, we. Is it all a group of girls? Then we would say nosotras. So, Teacher Catalina, what happens if it's a mixed group? That's a great question. Anytime that it's a mixed group, it doesn't matter how many boys or how many girls, we are going to use the masculine form. So if it's a group of boys and girls, we would say nosotros. Nosotros. All right, so now you know that nosotros and nosotras is right there on our chart, and that means we. But one more time, because I know it can get a little bit tricky. Remember, it depends on the gender of the people. So again, nosotros for a group of we that are all boys, or a mixed group. And nosotras for a group of girls that we're saying we. Very good. In English, you have a subject pronoun to say you, as in you, a group of people, more than one you. Maybe you're watching this video with another friend or a family member, so I'm talking to you guys. That is going to be the subject pronoun vosotros. Vosotros. Now, it can also change into vosotras. But here's the trick with vosotros and vosotras. Vosotros and vosotras is only used in Spain. Latin America, South America, Central America, although we know it, we don't use it when we speak. Why do you need to know it? Super important, just in case you travel to Spain, or maybe you're reading a textbook or a really good book in Old Spanish. Very important to know. So again, it depends on the gender. You're starting to see a pattern. Vosotros, if it's a group of guys, or, that's right, a mixed group. Now, if I'm talking to you guys and you're all girls, then I would say vosotras. And again, that's you, plural, in Spain. If you're taking this class at a school or a university, your teacher may be using the vosotros form or they may not. Regardless, I think it's important that you know it because, again, at some point in your life, you may encounter it. Although I don't use it because I was born in Colombia, I have plenty of friends that are from Spain, and when I travel to Spain, I hear it often, so it's important that you know it. The next one is if we're talking about a group of people. Notice how I said about? Think about it this way. This may help you remember. You're talking about them. Kind of like you're talking behind their back. I know that's not something nice to do, but it may help you remember. You're talking about them. Now, if it's a group of all guys, you're going to say ellos. Ellos. If it's a group of girls, you're going to say ellas. Ellas. Now, let me ask you, what if it's a mixed group? That's right, I think you know it. Then we're going to use the masculine form. We will say ellos. So one more time, ellos, we're talking about them, a group of guys, or a mixed group, and ellas, a group of girls. We're talking about them. The last one is going to be ustedes. Ustedes. Remember how I told you that vosotros and vosotras is used in Spain to say you guys? Well, in the rest of the Spanish-speaking world, primarily Latin America, we will say ustedes for you guys. I'm talking to you guys. Maybe again, you're watching this video with a family member or friend. You guys, ustedes. Does it matter if it's a group of guys or girls? No, you don't have to worry about it for this one. You're simply going to say ustedes. So now that our entire chart is filled out, I want to make sure that you pay very close attention on how we divided those subject pronouns. Although it may not mean a lot to you right now, it is very important that you learn them in this order. Later on, we're going to start conjugating. Maybe you know what that is, or maybe you don't. However, I'm going to teach you, so don't worry. But it is important to make your life easier that you memorize them in this order. So let's go through them one more time. Yo, I, tú, you, informal, él, he, ella, she, usted is you, formal, and again, they're all together. Then we have nosotros, we, or nosotras. Remember that you have to worry about gender there. In Spain, we use vosotros or vosotras for you guys. And of course, we have to worry about gender. And finally, we have ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So ellos and ellas, we're talking about them. Again, gender plays an important role. And ustedes, I'm talking to you guys. And again, ellos, ellas, and ustedes are on the same line on our chart. Are you ready to test your knowledge? Let's see how we do. Now, if you don't do perfect, don't be too hard on yourself. You just learned this, and you can play and replay this video as many times as you need to. I know you're going to continue growing on your Spanish. If you want to say he, what would you say? Excellent. Él. Él. Muy bien. If you want to say you, formal, what would you say? Very good. That would be usted. Usted. And don't forget that we abbreviated to UD dot. Usted. Muy bien. What if we wanted to talk and say we? And we are a group of all girls. We. What would we say in Spanish? Excellent. You remember the gender. You would say nosotras. Nosotras. So what if there was one guy in that whole group? Would we say nosotros or would we say nosotras? Very good. Nosotros. The moment you bring one guy, one boy into the mix, we are going to go with the masculine form. You did great. You just have to keep practicing. It will become something that comes as second nature. Now, to keep practicing, I would like to invite you to look below or go straight to www.teachercatalina.com and look in the library of resources. There's some handouts there that will help you as you learn Spanish. And don't worry, everything is free. I just like sharing all of my lessons with all of you. If you enjoyed this lesson and you learned Spanish, I invite you to subscribe. Click that subscribe button and join me for future lessons or maybe lessons that are already in my channel. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button and don't forget to click that notification bell so that you are notified anytime that I have a new video lesson so you can continue learning Spanish. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you the next time for our next lesson together. Adios!